Hi everyone, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to the month ahead astrology reading. Make sure you check your sun, moon, and rising signs for a comprehensive view of the month. Additionally, I would recommend watching the tarot reading of the month ahead to get a different perspective. While you will know the astrology in advance through this session, I will also send you a reminder when the astrological events are near. All you have to do is subscribe, hit the bell, and you will be notified as the events occur through my community page. I occasionally post behind the scenes, meditation guidance, quizzes, and polls, which you can check out for yourself. And it goes without saying that you will be notified when new videos are out, such as other zodiac readings and pick a card tarot readings as well. If you prefer to cut down the guesswork about your month ahead, you can always connect with me via Etsy to get a personalized week-by-week month ahead tarot reading paired with the general astrology. Enough about me, let's talk about you. So let's talk a little bit about the overview of the month first. We have two full moons this month. One on the 1st of August is a full moon in Aquarius, and on the 31st we have a full moon in Pisces. On the 16th, we have a new moon in Leo, so lots of lunar events occurring this month compared to the previous ones. Other interesting things is that Mercury is going to go retrograde in one of its home signs, Virgo, and the shadow period for that is going to start on the 3rd of August, and the retrograde itself occurs on the 23rd of August. The zodiac sign moves from Leo season to Virgo season, also on the 23rd, and Mars is changing signs from Virgo to Libra on the 27th. Apart from that, we have Uranus in Taurus going retrograde as well. And keep in mind, Venus is still retrograde at this time, and so is Neptune, even Saturn. So we have lots of planets going retrograde. Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, Venus as well. Okay, so lots of retros. Okay, let's get into it and see what this means. So on the 1st of August, we have a full moon. This one is in Aquarius, which falls in your second house of possessions, priorities, values, and finances. Where do you invest your energy, time, and resources, basically? So the moon is here and the sun is right opposite this in your 8th house of vulnerability, intimacy, shared resources, and also shadows such as fears, insecurities, and subconscious conditioning. So if you have some financial thoughts of whether you can achieve something or you cannot, things of that nature, where your beliefs are kind of not beliefs but the instinct that you have when you think about these things, whatever comes up, there can be some changes in this regard. Because it is a time of the full moon, it talks about bringing something into completion or culmination, release, or pivot. The same day, we have a favorable aspect between Mars in Virgo with Jupiter in Taurus. So this is a trine aspect and is going to be lighting your 5th house and 9th houses. Because you are also an earth sign, this is going to make a grand trine. So your energy levels are being guided and you are more flexible, organized, and managing yourself quite well, especially when it comes to creating more joy and fulfillment in your life. There can also be some spiritual downloads or communication and also guidance you might receive from mentors that can be especially encouraging at this time. On the 2nd, we have an opposition between Mercury in Virgo, and that is right opposite Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is retrograde at this time. So this is lighting your 9th house and 3rd house. This can be about what are your responsibilities to your local community or your co-workers, and what are you planning or strategizing for your long-term vision or plans. This can also indicate you're making some long-range travel plans or big picture opportunities are coming in, and then now it is up to you to kind of restructure your everyday commute or communication habits in order to fit in this bigger picture. For example, you have an interview coming up but you already have a busy schedule, so you might have to move some things around in order to fit in this interview. On the 3rd, we then have Mercury entering shadow zone, and it will stay in the shadow period, slowly gaining strength towards its retrograde cycle, which occurs on the 23rd. So whatever happens between the 3rd and the 23rd, try to note them down. There is likely to be a revisiting, or some changes might come in, maybe some adjustments and editing that might need to be done connected to this. And because it's related to your 9th house, it can be related to learning a foreign language, or brushing up on a language you already are familiar with, or learning about the culture and traditions of a certain space, especially if you're traveling abroad. If you are connected with, teaching or mentorship in any way, this can be about you learning to upgrade your skills in some way, or you are going for higher education, something connected to this. Mercury connects with the mind, so what you're thinking, planning, and saying or listening to in this area is going to come out front. Okay, on the 7th, we have a square between Sun and Jupiter. Sun is in Leo, which is your 8th house of intimacy, vulnerability, and shadows, like I mentioned earlier. And Taurus is in your 5th house. So this is basically indicating what are your focuses at this time and what are the opportunities. Okay, there might be certain things we're focusing on at this time which are inhibiting the growth, even though the opportunities are still there. For example, you're forming a good connection with someone, but then you're afraid to get very close to them because you're protective of your love life, or you're protective of your heart, or whatever the circumstance is. So this square brings that particular block into focus, and it says something gotta give, or we need to take action in some regard and create a breakthrough situation. Now, because a benefic is present here, and that too in a nice angle to your house, this talks about an opportunity being very upfront and clear. Like, you know that something is an opportunity, you're not doubtful of it anymore. So it gives you further encouragement to go over any hurdles or to connect deeper with an existing relationship. On the 9th, we have another square in the same houses, but the planets are different. Venus is retrograde in the sign of Leo, that 8th house, and Uranus is in Taurus in your 5th house. So this can again be talking about looking again at the relationships you have encountered in the past and how they are informing your relationships now. Or this can be about what you believe of what can you accomplish, or what can you do in order to feel fulfilled or not be fulfilled. Sometimes we grow up in environments, or we are constantly seeing people around us who are okay with not being okay, who are completely fine with, settling for what is there, but not you. You're a cardinal sign, you move ahead, you move forward. So this particular square can be a recalibration, or looking at things again in order to figure out what brings us most joy. Now, because Uranus is a planet of change and reformation, you're open to making some types of modifications connected to your love, romantic life, or creative life, anything related with children or inner child, as well as self-expression. The same day, we have another square. This is between Pluto in your zodiac, and Pluto is retrograde at this time, and that is squaring with the North Node in Aries. So there is an increasing focus and expansion connected to your home, family, environment. And the 4th house also stands for who you are in your private self, or, be kind of at home when you're by yourself. What are you like? What do you engage in? And all of that. It also connects with your ancestry and your heritage. What are your roots, basically? So when the North Node is here, there is an increased focus in there, or a need for increased focus, because there will be more fulfillment or expansion through that particular house. Because there is a square aspect here, it can be talking about what needs to be transformed from within you in order to create more expansion here, or it can be referring to certain missed opportunities or steps in the past that are making a come around, so that you can take advantage of those things now, because you have evolved a lot, you've grown a lot, and yes, now probably you can take more advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself. Okay, and also you might be seeing yourself differently around this time. Okay, it can be for the better or not. It completely is subjective, up to you. But definitely a shift in image, or a desire to shift image, that can be coming up. On the 10th, we have a favorable aspect between Mercury and Virgo with Jupiter and Taurus, and this again is forming that grand trine situation we saw earlier on the 1st of August. But involving different planets. So this once again puts the guidance back in, and it adds a little bit of a spiritual touch, but a practical sort of wisdom that is coming through that you can learn from children by engaging in creative hobbies or activities, and also connecting with your love life or romantic ventures, enjoying yourself, finding new ways to have fun, and so on. Through this, you can find a lot more of your purpose and a sense of fulfillment and expansion in life. In general, this feels quite good and kind of opportunities opening up. You can explore various things, especially if you're learning something new, you're learning something that is enjoyable to you. On the 13th, we have a conjunction between the Sun with Venus, and Venus is retrograde, and all of this is taking place in your 8th house of Leo. So wherever the Sun goes, light follows, and it is basically illuminating whatever Venus in retrograde is trying to create for you. So what makes you fulfilled? What can make you feel loved, safe, protected? What is your requirement for loyalty or within any type of relationships? What types of assets would you like to share? What do you absolutely don't want to share, etc., etc.? That is making some type of transformations around this time. So the Sun coming in here, the vagueness is a little bit diminished. On the 16th, we have a new moon, and this is in the sign of Leo. So all of the work, all of the developments that have been ongoing for some time, this is going to bring about a new beginning or a new potential that is unlocked. Now this one is squaring with Uranus. So this indicates that there needs to be some type of breakthrough or surprising event, or just news that comes in. Revelations as well can come up that create this liberation for you, or bring about this opportunity into your consciousness. But because it's a time of a new moon, it lacks experience, and we are likely to be a little bit more idealistic than is possible in that time. But it is still a seed, it is still a potential. Go with it and see where it takes you, because you also have a grand trine supporting you on this day. Mars is trining with Uranus, and this is again making that grand trine, right? Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, all earth signs. So all three of them collaborate quite well together. So this again indicates you have encouragement, you have a way to, create something more meaningful or liberating for yourself. Also your children and their education, if this is relevant for you. Then on the 21st, we have another trine. This is between the Sun in Leo with the North Node in Aries, and this is sliding up your 8th house and 4th house. Now, this is private houses. The 4th, 8th, and 12th houses are quite private, and they kind of work internally and behind the scenes. Other people may not notice it, but it's very real to you. Also very deep. So this indicates you have this inner fire that is wanting to be channeled, or there is this opportunity of growth that is just bubbling underneath the surface, and it requires some type of initiative, or there needs to be some quickly, let's take action, move with passion instead of thinking about things so much and all of that. But you might feel this coming in naturally. There is a sense of encouragement and joy that is surrounding you at this time. On the 22nd, we have a square between Venus, who's retrograde in Leo, with Jupiter in Taurus, and this is sliding up that 8th house and your 5th house once more. And this once again brings about topics of where is there over-promising and under-delivering, or maybe there's heightened expectations from yourself, from others, or from both, from relationships themselves, and from what, intimacy should be, what sharing of resources should be like, idealistic viewpoints like that, or ideologies like that. There can be some shifts and changes coming in as new information or new knowledge comes to light. The same day, we have an opposition between Mars in Virgo, right opposite Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is retrograde. This is lighting up your 9th house and 3rd house once more. It's been a while since we saw this one. It happened in the beginning week. So what this is indicating is that there are some activities going on connected to your legal sphere, or visas and foreign documents, foreign languages, and other activities connected to the diverse cultures. And there is a sense of realism as well in your perspective. So the things that you're learning or reading, they can be kind of, or rather the activities that are taking place in the bigger picture can be informing what you should or should not expect from a certain locality. For example, you find out that a certain culture is not very, they don't value polite conversation. Instead, they prefer, direct communication. So you won't be shocked or surprised when you're in that new place if everyone's not going, please, sorry, thank you. Instead, you'll be like, okay, they mean well. It's not that they are being aggressive. It's just how the place is or the culture is. The next day we have the zodiac season shifting. The sun is moving away from Leo and into Virgo. So now the attention is going to be brought into your ninth house of, expansion, purpose, fulfillment, higher education, higher knowledge, and wisdom. So there are some expansions that can happen here, but Mercury goes retrograde over here for some time. Okay. Now, this is where it can be that you're revising the plans that have been made. Make sure you're backing up your data and saving your information. Make sure that you are proofreading every document, especially if you're sending it for like a more public space or to higher authorities. Revise, recheck, spell check, whatever checks you can do. Avoid making very solid promises because it's still in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is a mutable sign. So it's not very straight or strict about this is the only time that we can deliver something. Instead, it keeps some possible options open. So try to make things as flexible as possible. Don't schedule yourself too tight because that can only end up, stressing you out and putting unnecessary expectations and pressures on certain deliverables, let's say. But if you're like going back to some ideas or documents that have already been done, then of course, you can continue on those things. That's completely fine. Also, if you've made travel plans before the retrograde phase, you can go on with those things. That's also okay. All right, so on the 25th, we have another favorable aspect going on between Mars in Virgo with Pluto in your zodiac. So again, all this expansion that is going on in the Virgo house is now going to be directly impacting you. And it is going to be bringing about some sort of transformation or internal clarity where you have been stopping yourself and where can you expand yourself more. On the 27th, we have an opposition between Sun in Virgo with Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is retrograde. So once again, the 3rd and the 9th houses come back up. How is your mindset? What are you thinking? What is your worldview and reality? What is realistic expectation? And all of these types of topics can come up. They can be brought up by an authority figure who you see as a mentor. But it can also be talking about, all right, we got to go over here 5 years from now. This is the goal. And how can we drill that down and make it more accessible today? What do we need to do today? Or what do we need to change today in order to create that bigger future that we're trying to? The same day, we have Mars moving into Libra away from Virgo. So all the busyness and activity is now going to move into a professional or public sphere. So this talks about your reputation and what you're wanting to achieve, your professional ambitions, your legacy, and all of that comes into the picture. Now, Mars is not generally very happy over here because it's in the sign of Libra, which is basically its opposite sign. Venus generally rules Libra. So it is having to obey Venus, whatever she does and wherever she is wanting to create flourishing and abundant energy. So over here, it is still likely to be, benefiting you or the world in general if it is channeled for the sake of beauty, improving aesthetics, or leadership. It can also be about how do you manage flow and energy? How do you manage a conversation? So diplomacy is super, well placed if you're involved with law, justice, anything that is connected with being fair, joining causes, or following up on causes which are about equality or fairness in some way. That can be well aspected here. But if it is something related to you gotta push and keep pushing, and no matter what your energy levels are, you gotta be focused all the time on. If that's the circumstance, it might be a little bit difficult here. Sometimes the willpower can swing back and forth. When Mars is in Libra, it's sometimes fully on and you're wanting to achieve everything and do everything, but on the other side it might be like, ugh, today I just cannot do Monday. Okay, so just watch out for that, manage your energy levels, but apart from that, that's fine. Okay, on the 29th, we have Uranus in Taurus going retrograde. So no more shocks and surprises for some time. Instead, we are given a chance to absorb the changes that have happened so far in the past couple months. And this is falling in your 5th house. So maybe no electric chemistry type of dynamics going on with love and romance. Instead, you have a chance to understand the people you've met at this time, or understand your creative style. Your children might have gone through some shifts and changes in their lives, and this is a time where you can just be like, okay, what are you doing exactly? How are you feeling about all of this, and so on. It's more about entering a deeper phase or an internally transformational phase. So if you're not connecting with someone in a romantic sense over here, this can be about how you can create some changes in the sense of how you love yourself, how you care for yourself, how can you make your life very beautiful and prosperous and all of that. It can also be that your ideas about love and relationships are anyway changing. So you're looking at how can you dress yourself, or how can you present yourself, or express yourself so that it is just more satisfying to you from the deep down. On the 31st, we have another full moon. This is in Pisces. So the moon is in Pisces and the sun is in Virgo. Okay, so now the thing over here is try to find some alone time purposefully, consciously, in order to understand your thoughts and mindset, because that's what it's activating here. And because it's a time of the full moon, there will be a completion, a release, a pivot point, and emotions are a little bit higher around this time, especially because it's a water sign full moon. So watch out for those instincts and intuitive nudges that come in here, because they bring about some type of balance in your life. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for being here. I really hope you enjoyed and that the messages help you out throughout the month. Stay tuned for the tarot reading as well. I will be uploading them soon. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever that's up. And if you enjoyed the reading, please do like and comment your thoughts if you have any. It will be really lovely to hear back from you, and it really helps the channel grow as well. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.